Hello and welcome. Yes, been a great weekend. Been busy. Welcome in and thank you all for watching. Smokey, we've got Smokey in. Mark Urbex, excellent. Abandoned Exploring Mike's in as well. Cool. Just lean back. That fading goes away. We'll have to do that. Yeah. Just give me a second. See what I can do here. Banners. There, that's the one. Give me a minute. I'll get the link up. Comments. Hello, Liam. Welcome in. OK Computers. T420 Tom is in as well. Excellent. Paste that. Chat. Richie Willock's in. Hello, Richie. Urban Lad Yorkshire. Excellent. Gareth Jones is in. Cool. Yeah. The link's there. 15 of us in. Excellent. It'll get more busier and all that, so give it a few minutes and we'll get a few guests up. I hope you liked the video I've just put up if you've watched it. If you haven't, you can always watch it in a bit. So, yeah. We went back there and we'll talk about that a bit later. Met up with some new faces, or a new face, should I say. So that's excellent. And if you follow me on Instagram, you probably know who we met up with me already. So, yeah, we'll talk about that. T420 Tom's in. Anyone else? Getting a few more people in. If you leave a comment, I'll try and show your name. Mark Urbex, like that. Richie Willock, hello, mate. Urban Lad Yorkshire, yeah. New comments. Did I show LK Computers? Whoops. No, ALW's in. There's LK Computers. Yes, and if you can do what Richie Well saying, smash the like button. Much appreciated. And tell you what would be better, even if you could share it out and tell everyone to come over the Urban Legend chat, Tuesday night chat. It'll be great. We got our first victim in, so when they're ready, I'll introduce them. Give me the thumbs up. Yeah, when you're ready. Yeah, he's ready. He's ready, yeah. Hello, Matthew. Excellent to see you in. Next guest is up now. It's Urban Lad Yorkshire, and here he is.
How do, guys? You all right? How you doing, Will? You all right, buddy?
Yeah, not too bad. How's things?
All right, buddy. All right. Steady away. Steady away. You know how it is.
Been working away, yeah.
Rolling and whatnot.
Hello, B. Welcome in, B.
Hello, everybody in chat.
We got Rogue in from overseas. Nice to see you, Rogue. Hope you
long time no see, buddy.
It is, yeah.
Hi,
excellent.
Mike. Matthew, hello. How are you doing? ALW. Hello to everybody in the chat. It's easier saying that, isn't it?
That's why I always put it in there, but then you get someone saying hello to you and you think, oh, if you say hello to them, and then it rolls on and you fall in the same process.
It's like when you're watching a premiere and that, even if it's your own premiere or what you're saying, hello this, hello that. You don't see whatever's happening, do you? You know what I mean? It's like, but yeah. Hi, guys, anyway. Hope everybody's all right. Yeah, I only caught the back end of that video, buddy, but and I will be watching it again because it looks cool. And I'm looking forward to the bit if you've obviously gone back, you've taken some ladders, and it goes further. So I would like to be, yeah, I'm looking forward to that too. And I think you need to take me to this destination because it looks awesome.
Yeah, I will definitely take you to one, 100%. You've been asking about the storm drain one.
I know, I want to go to that one as well. Yeah, I do.
That's it, yeah. We'll have to take you to one or two underground places. Hello, Rapid Man.
Yeah, hi, Rapid Man.
Nice
How
to
you
see
doing,
buddy? We got our next guest in. Give us a thumbs up when you're ready. She might not be able to. Yeah, got the thumbs up. It's Jackie Green Cats. Welcome in, Jackie Green Cats.
I ain't even seen her in chat.
No, I didn't come into chat. I just seen and I was like, oh, yeah. I've just watched your video, Urban Lad. So, I mean, Urban Legend. Do you know what? Yeah. You're confusing you lot.
Oh, it's all right. Don't watch mine then. It's fine.
No, because you smell funny, you, anyway.
That's how I like to portray myself. You know what I mean?
Just turn my sound up because I feel a bit, yeah.
How are we doing, Jackie, anyway? You all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. He should have sent that bloody doll to you.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw your comment.
Yeah, it's like, send it to Marcus.
It was definitely possessed, wasn't it, that doll? Yeah, but that's it.
I don't care whether it was possessed or not. It was just horrible. I do not like porcelain dolls. They're just ugly, horrible things.
Sorry, guys, everybody. It's just a previous live stream that we were just on. I do apologise about that.
Yeah, we were on another Explorers who we're friends with, and it was just quite funny, actually. I just thought it was hilarious.
Rapid Man's in as well.
Hello.
Yeah, Rapid Man, how are you doing, buddy? We need to meet up soon, Rapid Man. I'm going to contact you and find out when you're available, buddy. Because I want to do a couple of... I'm in Lincoln now, and that, well, not now, but I'm stopping in Lincoln at minute, so I'm not far away from you, if you know what I mean. We can meet up.
So that's what. That's where that's home base, basically, is Lincoln.
Base. Oh, it's my base. Yeah, it's my base. Yeah.
Home base. Yeah.
You know, I've been on some explores over the last couple of weeks, and it's like a place that I wouldn't go to because it's like a little bit further away for me, you know what I mean? And I just thought, I won't ever going, but because I'm there, I'm like, oh, look at that, that's there. I can just go there and stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You always find
flexing as well.
Places. Sorry?
I think we've got Flex in. I can see someone saying hello to Flex.
Yeah, that's whose channel we were on earlier. So it's all his fault. Right. So we just blame him. It's all his fault.
Hi, Steve. How are you doing, buddy?
Rapid Man saying he'd like to go to the car cave sometime.
I will go back to car caves, to be honest, but I'm only taking one ladder this time.
Steve.
You don't need
it looks a bit on the thingy side, doesn't it? A bit there, doesn't it? It looks a bit dangerous.
Oh, it is dangerous. It is. But yeah. I would love to go and take my inflatable with me. That's like you can rub it against the rocks and it won't bust it. You know what I mean?
So you won't be playing submarines going bloop 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 bloop.
Yeah, or even take my engine with it. I've got an engine that's got all fuel tank and everything built on, so I could take the inflatable and the engine, and we could just. Man, it's a bit dodgy, innit? Because there's like on wall, there's like thickness of like oily grime.
Yeah, it's going to be all full of slick from the cars, isn't it? Though, all the oil, the grease, and petrol and diesel and everything's all going to be in there. So it's going to be a bit on the toxic side.
Yeah, that's it.
It doesn't really smell in there, though, does it? Of oil or anything?
No, it doesn't. No, it's a good explore. I mean, I've been twice before. I went with Taffy. We went a long time ago, and but I got nearly to the bottom, and we didn't take no ladders. We climbed all the way down, and then when we got to the bottom, I was about 7 foot from the bottom, And
Bloody hell.
it wasn't the fact of me getting down there, it was the fact of me getting back up. And I just said to Taffy, I said, look, you go, I can help him back up, you see. I said, and so he went just have a look at it, and he says, I'm not going to film all, we'll come back later, you know what I mean? And we did, we came back when you were there, Urban Legend, you know what I mean? We went back when you were there, even though you were a little bit late, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. I've got our next guest up. I'll get them up in a second.
All right.
It's a great place, but like Urban Lad Yorkshire says there, you step in the wrong place and slip, you could fall down to your death. If not falling to your death, you'd definitely hurt yourself and need help out
A
there.
lot of sharp edges and everything, and obviously it's basically if you cut yourself, it's tetanus job.
Tetanus, yeah.
Right, give us a thumbs up, and I'll let you in. Right, yeah, I've got the thumbs up there. So here's our next guest.
Hello. Just moving my camera. I didn't give you a thumbs up at all.
Oh, are you, Andy?
Oh,
No, not that bloody weirdo. You let all sorts in.
He was waiting.
Thumbs up.
Mr. Matt was waiting there, ready with his rubbing his eye and thumbs up and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I can do
So I said,
that.
all right, I'll get the next guest on.
Yeah, I've got two of them as well. It's amazing. That.
It's like you were tag teaming me then.
And
Hello.
I'm going to let ALW on. I could see Matt saying, "You bleep word."
I was like, "Oh, fuck!" It wasn't like slagging you off. I was just like, "Oh shit!" I thought that was me.
Yeah, as soon as he puts his hands down, that's when I flicked him on. Then.
Hey, you heard it here first. That's when he flicked me on.
Oh well.
I thought it'd be for this was. Hello, Daniel Glover. Welcome in.
Yeah,
Shame I couldn't show everyone that. It's funny. Adrian's in.
Well,
Steve
hello,
in.
everybody.
Steve's in.
Hello everyone
Hello,
in the chat.
ALW.
Hello, Matthew.
Hello,
Yeah.
Urban Lad.
Mick.
Hello, Jackie Green, and hello to whoever the main presenter is, whoever he is.
What we're drinking, Matt?
It's the 1,000 subscribers.
It's the usual. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Surprised
thanks
he can
very much.
bother with us now anymore. Now he's got 1,000 subscribers. He's,
I'll be back
you
in
know,
a minute.
we're too
because
low
my
for him
phone's
now.
Being a bit stupid, okay?
Yeah,
All right,
okay.
okay.
Back in a second.
Oh yeah, well done for that, Matt. No, Matt, not Matt.
Oh yeah,
not Matt.
no worries. Yeah,
Well
thanks.
done
Yeah,
for that,
thanks.
Will. And for your 1,000 as well. You hit it on last show when some person parked at the side of me and I couldn't get no signal. I'm like,
Oh no.
Oh
One of
dear.
them.
Yeah,
Lorry driver site.
well done.
Mick J there is saying them cars, he believes what he read on the internet were dumped by the council. What suggested that, basically.
What, in car caves, you mean?
Yeah, the ones in the car caves, yeah.
I can't see that myself, but it is Wales, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Low lady, Lucifer.
It could be.
Yeah.
Hi,
but-
Lucifer, how are you doing?
Back in them days of looking at the cars, they're quite an old car, so the councils might have had different ideas back then.
Well, it's like that. It's. They've gone, haven't they? You know what I mean? No one is taking them cars out of that place ever. That they will just like lower down and that, and then eventually one day they'll be level with water. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they will rot away to nothing.
I mean,
Yeah,
I won't be alive when that happens, but you know what I mean? It's like, I hope explorers do keep going and stuff to it, you know what I mean? And documenting every year that blue car getting lower and lower and lower until it touches water.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've not
Thankfully
been.
do that.
I'll take it Matthew's been. I'll take Dick Van Dyke's been. And you've obviously
No,
been.
I haven't-
You've
I haven't
so you
been
got-
there.
No, I haven't. No.
Haven't you know?
No.
I was offered to go, but I was like, well, you know, it's one of those. I mean, it's been done so many times by so many people that you know, I suppose I could do it to introduce it to my audience, but really, I think everybody's kind of seen it.
So it's
Yeah, but
about the car
it's
cave, by any chance.
yeah. But Matt, it's not about it, that everybody else has done it. It's about your aspect, your part of it. You know what I mean? It's about you struggling to get down that cliff face and everything.
Yeah.
It's the
experience.
That, you know what I mean?
The experience, isn't it? Because it is quite an experience climbing down
you need
that.
to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen loads of. I've watched loads of people that have done it as well. So, but saying
brilliant.
that, it's not been done
loved
for a
it,
while, so it might be different if somebody's not been there for a while. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Low rural sound systems.
Yeah, I already watched the video before your video, Urban Legend. So, yeah.
I probably will end up there one day.
I've got a location for you as well. I need to send for you. That's down. It's not far away from you, but it's just become available on 28. I've got a friend who's on 28 days later.
Oh,
yeah. But
Don't land anymore. All right, Alex.
New man react like that.
Stop pressing his buttons, Alex.
He got
they'll
kicked off.
disown you.
He's got kicked off 28 days later, but he's got a secret account that they don't know about that he's been on for ages. So he's got access to an extra part that no one else, apart from these people that have been on for years and years, can get onto. And this
not for long.
Location,
not for long.
What's his username?
And then it has gone straight up to not for public. You know, for no one to be seen. So someone's put the pictures up there and they've taken it off straight away. So this place is like so fresh. The paint's still there, if you know what I mean. And it's not far away from you. Well, it is. It's closer to you than it is to me.
Right.
Well, it depends where you are now, doesn't it?
I mean, it doesn't matter where I am. It's still closer to him than where I am. You've got to drive over a bridge anyway.
Oh, I see. Yes.
Yeah, and you don't have to pay a toll on that bridge now.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's. I'll let you know. Like, we're gonna message you earlier on, but I forgot.
Cool.
So, yeah, I'll send you a pin, and you can go and see what's happening, what's going on. I'll send you pictures that the guy sent me as well of the place, and then you'll be like, "Shiznit, what's going on?"
Yeah.
It's a good Snoop Dogg track, that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you see the post I put up on Instagram, my last post,
which one?
I think it was.
With
Your
the
last
picture,
post?
with your people who were on,
Yeah,
with Martin Zero on that.
that's the one, yeah.
Right, yeah, I have then.
Like this message down here is relating to the video I just released. And like you see, we had to go back with some ladders.
Oh, yeah.
And we met up with Martin Zero and done it there with Martin Zero and went quite a long way.
Casual name drop there, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need
Also,
to call it. I need to do it.
Also, this video's got to come out a bit more of the place itself. So, yeah, it's a bit of a teaser for you. Like I say, I'll tell you something, and it will. Yeah, that's the one. Just let me get you up. There you are.
Oh,
yeah, that's it, yeah.
And the guy on the right is Martin Zero, if you don't know. The guy next to him is Antonio C9C.
He's
and
cool.
The one on the left,
funny.
Yeah, is Richie Wellick. And the one in the middle is a legend.
No, I'm not
Was
clue.
Antonio
In the middle. He looks a bit shady to me.
Yeah, the
He
one
is
in the
shady,
blue
but he's a
hat is
legend.
Antonio.
Is Antonio the guy that took you down the culvert that you went in and you nearly got washed out? Is he that chap?
He's
No,
the
he
one who
didn't go,
gave
but he gave him the pin.
Yeah, he gave me the pin. He didn't take us down there.
Oh, right.
Oh, so he left you
down there and
to
have
your
some fun.
death. There you go.
That's
Evil
right,
man.
yeah.
Yeah, go down this storm drain, but I'm busy that day.
He's in there.
Yeah.
Open the floodgates.
Wash them men away.
Pike on the Track. I don't know if you've seen the full video of the video itself because it were on long. But at the beginning of it, there were a couple of water workmen there, and they wanted to know what the pollution was. So they said, "Do you fancy going in?" and started laughing. So we went, "Yeah, why not?" So we went in, and with an opportunity like that, we can't not. And basically, we found out that there was pollution in there. He told us to look out for that line going across the water, and see where that was coming in. But we had a gas meter, we had all the right gear, all waders, and full lights.
Hard hats on, didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, we had the water board there watching us, so it's all safe. And that's why I also put the warnings on them type of videos when you go to places like that, because people might know it from the local areas. Some people might not know where it is, but people who are local don't go in there because it could be gas and all sorts in there. So yeah, I just wanted to get that out and explain.
Does it mean everybody heeds the warning? You always get some idiot that will try it and then start.
Somebody's saying, is it iron oxide? Is it like just rust, basically?
No,
it was.
I thought it was at first, but when we first walked in, there was a big sheet of metal on your right-hand side. You could see it in the video when we shone the torch down. And round there was iron ore, that iron rusty water. And when we got a bit further on, I said, "Oh, we're on some sandstone," but it wasn't sandstone. That's the iron ore on the actual rocks, making it look like sandstone. And then you could see more red in the pools of water. And when the light got onto it, you could see how bright it was.
Cool. Was it a railway tunnel? I saw a bit of it, but I didn't watch. I just could see it was a tunnel you were in, and was it a railway tunnel?
It was a culvert. Yeah.
Culvert, right, okay.
But I think where the ledge was an edge of in a bank, where the actual stream or river or whatever it was that used to flow through originally. And they actually decided to encove it in a culvert, and then that's why you got like bricks on top of the rocks, and then you got like a rock going right across the centre of it from one side to the other. What I thought it was a bit weird. I thought they would have knocked that out, but obviously if they culvert it, the water builds up, it's going to flow over it, so they weren't really bothered about that. But it was strange. You stepped in the wrong place, you could drop down to about a foot, maybe 2 foot. It was
wow.
If you slipped off the wrong place.
Yeah.
It'd be harder in waders as well because of the rubber bottom. Sometimes it can get a bit slippy as well.
Oh, it was slippy in there. Very slippy. I think we all did slip at one point or the other when we went back. Every one of us, yeah.
Didn't help that Antonio's a bit on the shorter side, isn't he?
It's not too short. It's about my height, to tell you the truth. So
don't know what height are you.
This height.
He's that tall, isn't he?
Yeah, a bloody pleb.
I don't really know because when I hold the tape measure to my head, there's no one to tell me how high it is, so I don't know.
God, you're fired.
Thank you, David Clark, for sharing us out. What you say?
I say, is Richie tall? He looks tall.
Yeah, he's very tall, Richie.
He struggled getting in the them sandy bunkers, didn't he? That you took him to. Couldn't get his shoulders through.
No, he couldn't at first. But
did he get in?
We went a few times.
Couldn't get his rugged chin. You couldn't get his rugged chin through there. But he's as long as he is tall. So I've heard.
I couldn't get my tits in that through that hole, me. You know what I mean? I would like putting one tit in first, and then the other tit, and I just couldn't get the rest of my body in. Then you know what I mean? It was like great.
Yeah, it did get opened up because he did manage to get in there. We went a few times, taking other people, and I noticed it got bigger. So I told him to come up and get it through, and he came up and got in. But
it was quite a small hole, to be fair.
At first,
Yeah.
Still is now, but compared to what it was.
If you go on the holes like a doorway, let me know, and then I can go and have a look for myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like a proper like door that opens. It's like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Hello, Jasper H. Jasper E.
It lifted up.
No, it didn't. It was a welded piece of metal, and they pulled metal off and then made a hole through the wall.
Yeah, you could still got in.
No, I might have been able to fit through the thing, but it was getting out that were bothering me. And I thought, I'm not getting stuck in there because I would. Can you imagine that? Jesus Christ!
I got my shoulder stuck getting out.
Bloody hell! So it's no good if you're a bit broad.
Or fat like me.
I'm
not fat, you're just well built.
So there you go, dude. I'm not.
Bearded Reality's in.
Hello there,
Bearded Reality.
Hi, Bearded.
I said congratulations to me before on my 1K.
Yeah, you did.
Can I just say thank you to everyone who actually subscribed and helped my channel grow. It's just going to go even bigger from now on and get bigger things and better things and more videos coming. I've got one that I'm working on this week, so I can't say too much.
Cool.
Probably because I don't know which one I'm doing yet.
Right, no, right,
yeah. So I need to
we need to do the Megatron in Sheffield again, so you can actually put that video out, because I think you've lost the content, because that video were epic. That day were epic inside that tunnel. I loved it, mate.
Yeah, it was good.
Mr. What they call it, ALW and Matt to come up, and then we'll all just bang into it and just do it, man. It's cool. I did ask Matt once, and he went, but there's no government issue with that place, is there? So we can make it a government issue.
That's it. Matt likes the chase.
You want to come and do Megatron? And you went, yeah, but there's no secrecy in it or anything like that. I went, yeah, but
you know me. I'm just like, oh my god, I'm going to get wet and dripped on. And I tell you what, if I come knowing that in advance, I wear all my waterproof gear. I'll be fine. Yeah. I'll be happy then.
Yeah, honestly, Matt. Yeah, out of all the people I know that do urbexing, you have got the most waterproof equipment out of anybody. You know what I mean? You've got a dry suit, for God's sake. You know what I mean? Crazy.
Yeah. All you need is your rubber ring, then you'll be sorted.
Yeah, it's not that. It's not that. But you don't even get wet, really. It's only up to your knees.
I got a rubber ring. It's what do they call it on the packet? It's a Dicky donut, I think they call it. Hang on.
Oh dear.
He's actually got a rubber ring, hasn't he?
No.
Yeah, has he?
Look,
bloody well.
Dicky donut.
That's for the thing around the back of your neck. No, it's a freaking armband.
It's orange.
Yeah,
it's orange. It's to help you go to the toilet.
Yeah, you have fun with that, dude.
We got a bit off topic there, didn't we?
That's it.
It's like he does it every
time. 2 words: rubber and ring, and it's right. Yeah.
A bit like the car caves, like Urban Lad Yorkshire was saying. It's about the experience. Yeah. Of actually doing it and just going into places like that.
He was going to go back there because he wanted to go do something like scuba diving in it, and it's like, really? Ew. But there you go.
Yeah, I've been dangerous in there.
To go swimming in there,
yeah, it's a bit polluted for my liking.
It's not too bad.
But it'd be cold as well. I think it'd be the cold because of obviously no sunlight getting in there. It's going to be really cold.
Yeah, it is cold, the water. Yeah. I wouldn't like to fall in there because you wouldn't last 2 minutes. Say that you have to swim from the cars over, and you probably wouldn't make it. I wouldn't make it with the coldness. I'd freeze up.
Yeah, pretty dangerous.
Yes.
Yeah.
The chat up on here.
Well, that's what the thing. See, if you get yourself a dry suit, or if you get yourself waders, you should be able to go in quite deep. And I mean, I've walked around, really freezing cold places like that Monk's Tunnel in Bristol, and like it was right up to my waist, and you just don't feel it. It's just like a little bit cold, but it's not freezing cold. But other people who literally rolled up their legs and went walking in it, they were shivering when they came out. So
you just know that the water's there, don't you? You can't feel the water, but you just know it's there.
Yeah.
And it's not exactly shallow in there. You need some sort of thing to get across. Like you said, you're going to use your dinghy or whatever you got, Marcus?
Yeah, I've got a inflatable as well. Yeah, I'm thinking about going to car caves, taking that. But it's a big thing, you know what I mean? It's like it's a 3-4 man with an outboard, you know what I mean? You've got to carry it there, haven't you? You know what I mean?
Yeah, carry the outboard.
Trolleys that you can sometimes use.
You could try one of these inflatable.
The car caves, you're up to your knees in water. It's like a little tunnel.
Oh God, it
was down. You've got your bag on your back. You're in water up to your knees. You know what I mean? And you're like that. And then when you get in, it's opened up. It's like, where's all water gone? You know what I mean? It's like crazy. It's just there's a water up way in, and then when you get in there, it's all dry.
Like Crazy John's saying there, it's just not the water; it's what's underneath it as well.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking.
There's cars underneath there, isn't there?
Yeah, if you put your put your foot through a rotten car roof and got stuck.
Yeah,
hello, Brady.
Dangerous.
Would it?
Yeah.
Or even if you like inflatable gets popped on something underneath. You know what I mean? Them slate mines are like razor blades. Some of the edges.
Yep.
Yeah, they are. I mean the proper inflatable boats that have outboards are a bit more like thicker stuff than
durable.
What is, you know what I mean? As long as you're not rubbing it up and down side of it, on a sharp piece, I don't think it'd bust. You know what I mean? It's you're quite safe, I think, with them.
I'm not sure about that.
I was going to buy it on 2nd of May, and I said like, no, I'm not going to bother selling it. You know what I mean? Because it's like I just want to keep it, but I don't need it. I haven't put my other boat in water yet, but I just don't need it. But I'm like, I might need it. It might be like just like a little thing that I can throw it boot in my car, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, Rapid Man there saying about the underwater drone that went down there by the fighters.
Yeah, that was good.
That was cool.
So it just gives you an idea of how deep it is as well.
Yeah. Tell you what would be cool though, if you joined the scuba diving club and they took you there.
Yeah, that's what he was trying to do, because he said him and his dad were going to go and learn or something like that. But still, it's still a bit. A bit iffy.
I have seen people that go scuba diving in caves, but I've not seen them actually do that one.
Yeah.
I have actually seen them go in caves and then like old mines like that, and then go into the passages and they find all other stuff that's not been seen, obviously, because it's underwater. And some of it's still in good condition because the air's not got to it to make it rot and rust. But they're saying it's so dangerous and you just get caught on this or that or the bottle or anything. So it is extra dangerous than just scuba diving out in the ocean, caved with the scuba diving.
Yeah. With all the silts. When you kick the silt up, then you can't see.
Yep. So it's quite a lot of factors there, because obviously it's vision. Depends on what's down there. You'd have to take things like first aid and all sorts. I don't know.
I did a cave in Wales.
Sorry?
Yeah, we did a cave in South Wales. I'm not allowed to give the location out because I promised, because the person who showed it to me, it was an agreement. So, but, that was kind of a little bit like, sounds like the car cave, because it was very steep going down, getting in there, and you had to walk down this face. And if you slipped, you'd have gone down, bounced, and gone over a cliff. And then it would have been like 100-foot, 200-foot drop. And we were going down and then across and then down again and across. And when we got to the bottom, we got to these lakes, basically, like sort of like see from one side to the other, but the water was so clear that you could see right down into it, and you could throw a torch in, and the torch would just disappear off into the abyss beneath you. So it was a couple of 100 feet of water underneath you.
Wow.
And it was weird where we were standing because like, how can I explain this? There was overhangs, so we were standing looking at water, but the water went down underneath us, and then the pool went out. It went like that. So we were standing on overhangs, looking down on water that got wider as it got out, but it was beneath us. So it was like it was actually underneath us, and we were walking on like walkways around the top of it. And that was used by scuba divers, but they'd sealed the tunnels up. But their equipment for sort of like a scaffold that they sort of walk along, and then a ramp, so they sort of like walk in and then they drop off the edge. All that was still there, but the tunnels have been properly sealed, like, you know, they've been welded up and big boulders shoved in front of the doors. So we went in a different method, but it's a good video, actually. It's quite atmospheric in there. There's clouds halfway in the tunnel. We were like walking through, and as you come down, you can see these like clouds hanging there, just mist hanging in thin air.
Cool.
You know,
Sounds awesome, that.
So don't they use it for scuba diving no more? Like you say, they sealed it up permanently now.
I mean, I suppose if a club wanted to take it over, they could reopen it.
Yeah.
I don't know what the reason was why it wasn't being used anymore, but that was actually an iron mine as well. That was an South Wales iron mine. So, yeah. That went down the wrong way. Shit.
Whoops.
Didn't go down your breathe-hole, did it?
I don't know.
It would have
There was
done.
still-
That's why you end up gargling like that.
Yeah.
Lady
Yeah,
Lucy's saying she has a good
The only
moist
way to
cave.
fix that, the only way to
Have
fix that
another
is
beer.
more of them.
Yeah, another one. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I'll try that.
Yeah.
I think as well when you have to watch this, because even experienced divers have gone into trouble in some of these places, so you really have to be careful. And it's usually advisable to go with several people anyway. But
Well, I think that the people that dive in mines and stuff like that, I think there's only one way to be, and that's experienced, because it's like I would not do that. I mean, I've dove about, is it dove? I've dived. I've dived like 3 times.
Dived.
When I've been on holiday, you know, you pay a guy and that, and he
Don't
takes you out the
confuse him.
boat, and what?
sorry, it's that bloody Matt again. He's trying to confuse you.
No.
You divided. Dive. You
I
did.
dived.
Divided. Yeah.
Dived.
Yeah.
I went down on some water. I dived under the water. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, in the water.
Yeah, and well, I've done it like 3 times. First time I did it when in a swimming pool, and like I put the thing in my mouth, the breather thing. Put it in my mouth, and I'm like,
oxygen.
I'm underwater, and I'm like, how thirsty am I? I'm like, I took it off, and I'm like, swimming pool.
Oh.
Put it
You
back
won't
in
want to do that in the
You're
cave.
gonna in that pool.
Do they call that your regulator? Is that what they call
Regulator,
it?
yeah.
Regulator.
Yeah, that's regulated. Yeah, but I put it in my mouth, and it was like, and it were all right on the side with these really heavy tanks on my back. I had 2 tanks on,
Yeah.
and then when he says, I'm gonna like help you into water, and he basically pushed me into water. And it was like shit. I couldn't get up. I had to walk to the shallow end to get my head above water. It was like, and I was like,
Yeah.
I couldn't do it, mate. I was awful first time. Hi guys in chat, that new ones that have just come in.
Yeah,
You're just like you're a dead weight, aren't you, with all those tanks? I mean, some people they have to be helped up, like even to stand up. When you're in a boat, you put them on, but then you just can't get up because your weight's all wrong. You have to be like helped to stand up, and then you just jump.
Yeah.
That's it. It's horrendous.
It's
Once you get in the water, slightly more buoyant then, but.
That's what I was thinking.
Exploring with these. Sorry.
Hey?
It was the panicking. I was panicking. I could breathe, but I was like, I can't breathe. And it were like the the first underwater when you're like you can't do this. You've got your mask on and that, so which covers your nose, so you can't breathe through your nose anyway, and you've got the regulator in your mouth, and you're like the first you take underwater's like this isn't meant to be happening. You know what I mean? It was like, oh my god, let me get out. And then I had to walk to little deep, shallow end of like this. Big tanks on my back. I will get there.
Like what I ever think of waders, if they ever get filled, if you ever step in the wrong place and it overfills, it's a dead weight pulling you down, isn't it? You know what I mean? That's one thing about them waders.
Has that ever happened to you, Will? Has that ever happened to you?
Not yet.
Well,
The thing is,
I
once
only have thigh waders because they don't do waders big enough to go over my tits, so I have to put thigh waders. I've only got leg waders, so because of my legs, I'm knackered anyway.
The thing is, I think with those waders, it's like, yes, they can fill up, and I've had a hole in them, and it will fill up. I mean, you sort of got to find out where those little holes are, which is quite awkward to find them sometimes. But yeah, I mean, once you start filling up, it can be like a real like slodge. But you can always like sit down somewhere and like put your foot in the air and sort of like roll the water out of you. That can work. But I think if you fell in, you wouldn't have a problem because you'd equalize the water inside the waders with the water outside, so it wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, sea survival suits are like that. If you get a leak in them, once you're equalised, you're all right. It's if you're in a sea survival suit and there's loads of air where your legs are, then it tips you upside down. Then you're in real problems then. You need to get the air out. You have to like bicycle pedal backwards to get your legs down and then get all the air out your suit by like breaking the cuffs and getting the air out that way. You lift your arm above you and get the air out. That's the worst part. If you end up in the water with sort of a mix in your suit, that's bad.
Have you done that thing where you had to go off a boat into water and you go upside down? Or is that just
the air pocket?
Helicopter things, yeah.
Yeah, the Dunker, yeah, I've done that,
you go down that thing and it's like a track in a pool and it goes upside down like that and you just sat there. Have you done that?
That's the lifeboat training for oil rigs. I have, but it's just you just go down a ramp and it turns upside down. You just climb out. That's not so bad. But the Dunker, the Dunker for the helicopter, where you're in an aircraft upside down, that's quite scary.
Looks it. I've seen training videos like that before. It's like, yeah, I couldn't do that. No way.
Mark Urbex there saying currents underneath the water as well. You can't see how strong they are.
Yeah. If it's tidal, if it's got a river to it.
I might get the place wrong, but I think it's on the moors. There's a river or a stream. It's quite wide, and at one point it goes narrow. But because it's narrow, it doesn't mean there's not much water there because it's narrow. See the river, say it's wide like that. The river turns on its side. So basically you're seeing the river on its edge. So when you're looking down a little creek of the river, it's only 1 or 2 feet across. But if you step in that, the amount of water is flowing underneath sucks you under. And a lot of people actually died because there are a few rocks there, but a couple of kids have died. I can't remember the name of it. I'm sure it's on the moors somewhere, or the Pennines, somewhere like that.
I know a guy called Martin that'll probably know.
Yeah.
Yeah, anywhere where things narrow, the same amount of water still goes through, but it has to double its speed to go through. So if it halves the narrow, it'll double the speed. So yeah, it can be quite tricky. And I mean, I noticed this when we were doing the boating stuff out on the Solent, and just the tides there, because I mean the tides will go up like, what was it? I can't remember now. It's like 7 or 12 meters. I think at Barry Docks is one of the highest in the world. It's like 12 meters up and down, you know, and you can watch the tide go out in like a couple of hours and it'll go down 12 meters and then it comes back in, it goes up 12 meters. Well, what you got to bear in mind is, sorry, Jackie?
I can hear feedback. I'm listening to you, Matt.
Yeah.
But I thought all I can hear is feedback as well of somebody. It's not you again, Marcus, by any chance.
He's muted himself.
I think it's just
now.
StreamYard's weird because it's not Urban like because he's.
No, okay. So I can't beat him up this time. Okay.
But the thing to remember,
because sometimes you get like a buzzing noise as well, don't you? Not now.
The thing I never.
Sometimes. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Just saying about appreciation of the sea, if you're going to get into it, because I never realized just how serious it was. Like even tying up a boat in Plymouth, like you've got Drake's Island and you see it there and it's always there and you just think, oh, there it is, it's always there, nothing changes here. You just don't realize that Plymouth has tides, and it does, and they're a couple of meters, you know, and it's like, so you tie your boat up, and if you tie it too tight, when you come back, either your boat will be underwater because you tied it too tight and it didn't have slack to go up and down, you know, when the tide changed. It'll either be underwater, or if the water was high and the water's going down, you'll have a boat sitting in the air like that, hanging on where you tied it. You know,
it's so
and
funny
it's something you really have to think about.
Yeah, I've been out on days out in York, you know, just out for a few beers with the lads, and there'll be like all the boats tied up with people who know what they're doing. Then there'll be a boat up in the air, like lashed off really tight.
Yeah.
You ain't getting that down.
No, God,
no, it's funny.
And I mean, the rate of speed as well. It's like channels of water, like the River Severn. It's like this. It starts at like Gloucester way, and then it gets very big as it goes down Wales all the way out to Cornwall, and it's like comes right out. And you think, well, that's just a huge mass of water. What does that matter? But what people don't realize is when the tide comes in, it's coming into a small point. And when water narrows, it goes faster, as we said earlier on. So it makes it a really dangerous place to be, because when the tide is coming in, it's the worst, because the speed of that water rolling as it goes, it'll suck you under is one thing, but it runs at a lot more speed. So I mean, you know, in the Solent, I think it was at least 10 knots. You could have 10 knots of current on just a normal day, 10 knots. But going up the River Severn, you'll have 10 knots plus the narrowing effect, which means it could be like 15, 20 mile an hour. So you imagine you drop somebody in the water and they're like paddling, trying to get back, and they're moving away at like 15 miles an hour.
Yeah, but the current's going to carry them out further and further. So basically, they're just going to get
wave
tired
goodbye to them, because
while.
they're off.
Yeah,
you know,
this is why kids and little inflatables and that's so dangerous.
Yeah, because close to the shore, you don't feel the effect so much. But once you get out a little bit and you get into that sort of current stream, it's like off you go.
Yeah, that's it. You say about tying off to buoys and things like that, or little forts and things. The water pressure actually increases around things that are out there, because it's sort of sloshing around them. And then if you're trying to tie off to it, you got to be a really good coxswain to get to it to lash on. Yeah. Very difficult. Somebody did put Venturi effect in the chat then, and there is a thing called a Venturi effect. Yeah, and that is the speeding up of water through a portal, and then it actually creates a low pressure on the other side.
Yeah.
The River Severn there's a bore on it, don't they? Sometimes.
That's right. A couple of times a year.
Surf up it, don't they? They know when it's going to happen, and they go and surf up the river. It's like, what? It's like usually on the night as well. And it's like a 1.5 meter wave, and they just surf up the river. It's crazy.
I feel like I've seen that on a TV advert a long time ago. It might have been a TV advert for Wales or something.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
I think they do it.
Yeah,
they do it near sort of like Gloucester and the river, the Severn Bridge, and up a bit further. And I was looking at that the other day, because I drove across the River Severn Bridge, and I was looking at it, and the tide was extremely low, and the tides change with the moon as well. You know, so sometimes you get like high tide to to like a medium tide, and then you sort of get like a medium tide to a very low tide where you see all the sand. And I think it must have been one of those, because I could see all the sand going up the River Severn, and you realize what is effectively, when the tide is in and it's high, you could take a big boat all the way up the River Severn. When that tide's low, there's a little channel down the side of it, which is very close to Wales, and it wiggles up the side. But close to England, that's all just sand and mud, you know.
It is,
But
yeah.
when the tide's up,
over
it's
that.
a huge body of water, you know.
That's why you with that body of water, that you need to be between them lights, don't you? You know that you've got to be, because if you see empty, you're thinking, oh well, I'd have just been over there, but you're like, no. Even if it's full, I bet it's you're still touching bottom. You know, it's a wide river, but it's like it's not very deep. But in the middle, it's deep, obviously, isn't it? That's the fastest flowing tide, isn't it? In the middle.
I mean, if anybody's thinking of getting into it, what I'd suggest is on your phone, get a little app called. I'm just trying to work out what it is now. It's called like iBoating, was the one I got, and it's got all these maps in there, and the maps show you the depth of the water. So basically, at high tide, you can say that map is then going to be effective to tell me I'm here at this. But at low tide, you know, you could be like within a meter. You know, you're running along in your boat and you think, oh, this is great, and you're within a meter of like sand or rocks underneath you, and you just don't know. And you could be going through a really wide area, and you don't realize to the left of you is shallow, to the middle is okay, and to the right of you is really deep. And what you need to be is in the deep parts a lot of the time, unless the wind is high, in which case, if you go into the shallow parts, you get less waves because you're closer to the shallow parts. But you've got to be careful with it. But you can easily ground yourself on things. And, you know, they're quite sharp rocks as well, you know, and because it all seems great fun, because, I mean, I did it. I mean, I just jumped in a boat and I'm like, yeah, it's a great fun. And then I started sanding, like grounding out on sand and stuff. And I was like, what's all this? Got an app on my phone and it's like, oh, shit. So now it's like, there's the map. And when I'm going, I'm, you know, people are still like, why is he going in this weird? Why isn't he going in a straight line? It's like, you don't want to go over there. There's sand. You know, we're going to get stuck. You know,
going to run aground.
Yeah, if you got a sharp keel, it'll tip you up.
I bought myself a fish finder for my boat, which is my boat is actually getting serviced at the minute, my engine. So they got them to fit this fish finder thing as well, which is like it's not a fish finder because I don't go fishing, but it's a depth gauge. And it will say if there's anything in the middle of the water, say like a boat had sunk and there were a mast or something, it would show that on the actual screen. It's like a sat nav for boats, basically. And
the only thing with that is, do you know whether it sees forward? Because it will tell you your depth. It'll tell you the depth underneath you, and it shows you. It draws like a 3D map of like what's underneath you, so you can see stuff. But does it see in front of you? That's the trouble. Why you've got to be careful using that. You need a good map, I think.
Yeah, you do. You need to spot where you are.
App that you just mentioned there, you'll be telling me it later on WhatsApp anyway, because stuff like that we need to know, don't we? You know what I mean? But
yeah, some of those fish finders,
learning curves, isn't it? If you don't know, or learning if you're stepping in something new.
That's it.
You don't want to learn the hardware.
I think some of those fish finders, you can split the screen, so you can have the fish finder, the depth, and a map, so you can have all three in one, so you can make sure you know where you're going. But yeah,
I mean, it wasn't a cheap one neither. You know what I mean? It was like 300 quid nearly. You know what I mean? So it's quite a well, it's basically a tom-tom for water that tells you where fish are, basically. You know what I mean? So I think it's got a SIM card in, so it knows where all the sandbanks are. You know, the new maps and stuff that go onto the. I think it's one of them where the maps go on it all the time. It's a live thing when it's switched on, but I ain't used it yet. It's not even fitted, so
that's good. I'm not going to mention any names. Not you. Nobody here now. But I'm not going to mention any names. But I was speaking to somebody who's like pretty crazy on doing the boat stuff and has done some quite amazing stuff. And I said to him, have you got a radio? He's like, no. I said, have
I've
you
got
got any maps of the? And he's like, no. And I was trying to impress upon him. I was like, really, you need to get this shit. And a radio, a small radio is like you've got to have a license for it, but it's free. The small handheld radios is free, but
Yeah, decent one that you can get the Coast Guard on.
Yeah, I've got the same
get
one
your
as what
Navy
you've
one.
got, Matt. You know what I mean? I asked you what you got, and I bought the same. I ain't licensed it yet though, but I know that I have to do that.
it's like when you fly, everyone's supposed to have a license to speak on air radio as well. But do you know what they say? We'd rather you use it than be licensed. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like they'd rather you speak to them, because what goes wrong when you don't speak to them is worse. Yeah.
Oh, much worse, yeah.
It's all right.
I'm Matt as well. I'm free the last week in July as well.
Oh, bloody last week of July. That's like half the bloody year gone. Come on.
Yeah, well, I'm
going to be out every other day.
I can do weekends. Have you got anywhere for me to park my boat down by you?
There's no rivers or things worth doing by me. I mean,
no, but I mean, is there secure parking so that I don't have to drag the bloody thing all the way down there and then come back with it and then take it all the way back down again? You know what I mean? Because I've got a couple of weekends available, buddy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that is a problem. I mean, what you can do is you can find like secure car parking, and you can find stuff like that. And if you go to a boat club, you can just say to them, how much for me to pop my boat in here whilst I go out for the day, and they probably just $5 or free,
Wow.
But
I'll talk to you later about that.
I'll be back in a second, just answering this phone call.
Buddy.
Sorry about this.
All right.
Say hi to your mum for me.
It's not my mum this time either.
That just means it is his mum.
It is his mum. Yeah. It is.
Yeah, 10 o'clock. Yeah, his mum.
Nasty little bloody spike.
I wish my frigging mother loved me as much as his mother loves him.
You trying to spike yourself with things, Matt?
No. I mean, I got myself that full immersion suit was about 300 quid. But I think if I'm doing some crazy shit on the water where it's like, I've done stuff which is up to 6 miles out, like from the headland. It's 12 miles from where we came from, but it's 6 miles from the headland. I think it's worth it because if you do fall in the water, you're extending the amount of time you can survive because, the water's very cold. And, it's one of those sort of like a radio and a survival a dry suit is going to save your life. So
100%, Matt. Yeah, they used to say you've got 4 seconds from falling in the drink when you're out, when you're like out 12 miles out or more because it's so cold. If you don't sort your breathing out in them first 4 seconds, you're a goner. If you start panicking and hyperventilating, you're not going to survive. But yeah, if you've got an immersion suit on, the thermal effect is going to be much, much less on you. Then you can sort your breathing out, sort your head out. Right, what have I got? What kit have I got? And then you can start the rescue of your whoever's with you in your boat. Yeah, if you've just dead man switch. If you got a dead man switch on your boat, use it.
I didn't have one. On my small boat, I actually fitted. It's only like a £7 switch, but you've got a stop button on every engine. So if your engine doesn't have one, all you do is you put one of those switches in there, and it basically breaks the contact, and sort of. Or what it does is it earths it out. So when you pull the switch, it actually presses the button.
Yeah. Is that the one with the curly coil that you fasten it to your wrist or something like that, and then if it pulls off engine, it stops it? Is it one of them?
Stops it, yeah. So otherwise your boat either clears off or comes round in a corner and runs you over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want either of them.
Propellers on you, that's it. Dangerous.
Yeah, but Matt, we don't forget we need to do the round the Isle of Wight. So if we do that in the last week of July, we'll just, you know what I mean? Do that as a video the whole week. Oh my God, that'd be epic. Will that?
You're
Wild
obsessed with
camping.
Dyke, aren't you?
Wild camping.
Should be able to do it in a day or so, I would imagine. But yeah,
We'll go around a few times then. That's fine with me. You know what I mean? We're just going to keep it around. Isle of Wight. How many times can we go around Isle of Wight in 1 week?
yeah.
That'll be cool with that. But yeah, just keep going off every day and doing explores and that. Oh yeah. I need to do them forts, whatever we can get on though. You know what I mean? But
I mean, it's one of those really. You may have to sort of like fake it a bit, like they do on television, because what you'd have to do is, if the weather wasn't good for many days, you'd have to pull into harbour and then go, oh, we're up there doing an explore. Then literally get back on your boat, then go to the next harbour and go, and we're out doing an explore here, and then get back on the boat and then go to the next harbour. Then you take your boat home, be safe. And you come over on a car on a ferry, and then you do the explores. Then, because
join it all together.
The weather is such a tricky thing with this boating. It's like it can change from day to day, and it can change very quickly as well. And rough weather. I mean, on a big boat, I see big boats passing me, and they're just like right out, whilst I'm going whoa like that. My mate was on a jet ski. And he hit a wave. He was only doing 20 mile an hour, and he hit a wave, and the jet ski went in like that, and it caught him in the chest and gave him whiplash, and he was in the water. And I was like, "Shit, are you all right?" And he was like, "Yeah." And later on, he said to me, "Oh, I'm feeling screwed up now." Like things happen very, very quickly with boats.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, we used to have in the Royal Navy. They used to have hard hats. And they used to make them wear the chin stays down. And then a few lads, they used to have a boat called a Tornado. They took them out of service after this, but the metacentric height was really short, which is the bit that stops you tipping up. And they tipped this Tornado up, and the water went in the hard hats, and it ripped the reds back and broke the necks, killed them.
Whoa! No way.
Because of the hard hat, because there's a gap, there's an air gap. They're not designed for water. That's when they withdrew hard hats from that. They brought these other ones in that looked a bit like Planet of the Apes, them like skull caps they have. A bit like rugby skull caps. They brought them in instead. So
very tight to the head then.
Yes, there's no gap. It was the gap the water got in. Yeah, it killed 2 lads. That did.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, and they were experienced people, Yeah, but these tips up went in 20 knots. That was the end of that.
Yeah, I love it when Volt gets his boat out. I think it's
cool
as that. I mean, do you know what I mean? It's like, I think out of all the explorers, Matt, you're the number one with the boats and shit. You know what I mean? It's like
boats and shit.
Else has done it. It's like.
I know, it's so technical, isn't it?
It's like them forts on the Solent. It's like, wow. Especially the one that was done out like a hotel. And it even had a shop on it full of all the merchandise. And I was like, oh my God, holy shit.
Yeah. You know what I'd really like to do is have my microlight still. I might get one back again, and I'll fly to really weird places. I'll land in a field, like just a normal field, not a strip. Just land in a field, get out, do an explore, and then come home. But I think the ultimate piss take would have been on the Spitforts to have your helicopter license and take a helicopter and land it on the helipad, get out, explore, and then piss off. And then they're like, then they'd be like, "You never had permission to land there." It's like, oh, it's just trespassing. It's just aerial trespass.
Yeah. Well, Matt, if you ever get that license and that, I will definitely be a part of that explore, because that'll be amazing.
Yeah. You can go amazing places in helicopters that you wouldn't want to go, like right up on the tops of mountains with glaciers and things like that, and places you wouldn't want to get stuck.
Yeah, I bet.
Looks awesome. I'm really
Steve Ellis is saying good point. I mean, like a Piper Turbo Cub or whatever, those things with big wheels. The wheels are like 6 foot high, and like you can land in rivers, in riverbeds, and they just go dung 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 dung, and they just land. and then you can take off in like about 15 feet. You just like like almost go vertical in them. They're amazing. Yeah, I love those. I'd really like to sort of like. Yeah, what are they saying? The nitrogen in our DNA, the calcium in our teeth, the iron in our blood, the carbon in our apple pies were made in the interiors of collapsing stars. We are made with star stuff.
On Star Wars Day.
Well,
Somebody else told me that earlier on. Star Wars Day.
Oh, I'm still not here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're still not here.
You're there somewhere. There you are.
God bless George Lucas, and God damn Jar Jar Binks.
Oh, Jar Jar didn't do anything wrong. He was just annoying.
I just didn't do anything right, did he? I stepped in the puppy.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But power water, it's amazing, isn't it? It's just so scary, the water, because you can't control it at all.
No.
If it goes out of control, that's it. You're knackered, aren't you?
Do you know something that like freaked me out? Going to Mallorca once, like I never seen sea so clear, because I mean, like in the UK, there's bloody seas, like bloody, it's like treacle in it really a lot of the time. But like out there, the sea was so clear and so calm. You're looking down, and it's like you're doing an alley law, like you're looking off the edge of a building, like standing on the edge of a building. I got vertigo, even though you think to yourself, "Hang on, if I fall in there, I'm just going to float." But you're looking over the edge, you're thinking, "That's really high." Whoa, you know, it's really high, and it's like you feel like you're on the edge of a building, looking down. You could fall in and like drop. I got vertigo looking into water. That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I've had that. Yeah. Yeah, it sort of messes with you. It messes with your senses, doesn't it? And you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Feels like you're floating in
like
the
that,
air and looking off the edge
Skywalk.
of a building.
Like that skywalk they put in Blackpool Tower. When you walk across that glass, you think the same thing, sort of thing.
Oh, no, I'm not. Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't think I could do that, but I did force myself to actually do it and stand on it. And yeah. And I wasn't. I went up one of the tall.
I wouldn't stand on it because it might bust through. But have some like giant Yorkshireman sat on top of someone at bottom. Oh
God, he's off.
I went up to Sears Tower, and the lifts there are crazy because it's like they accelerate and accelerate and accelerate and accelerate. They keep accelerating, and then it's like, and then you go, woo, and you can see the numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's like floors you're going up, like, you know, like the speed of it. You know, and then that wasn't too bad when I got to the top, but I have been told that it sways in the wind, which I was thinking, oh, I might not like that. No. You know, but I did then after that because I reacted quite well. The person I was with took me to the Hancock Tower, which is that tower that goes up like that, you know, sort of like black tower with two like devil horns on the top, and they sat me in the window and gave me a meal. I couldn't eat the meal. I just said, I was like, I said, can we swap seats? And I was like, I had to sit on the inside and turn away. And I said, I'm sorry, I just can't look out that window because even though I got a pilot's license, right, I'm freaked out by heights. I couldn't eat my food because it's like I had no appetite at all looking out that window. It was just like, like that.
Yeah.
Took my appetite away.
Yeah.
Do you ever suffer from it when you're flying? Or have done?
No, it's weird. It's a strange thing. It's being on something, feeling like you could fall off it. But when you're not on something, when I'm in an aircraft, I'm not on something. It's like this feeling of being too close to the edge and you could fall. I don't know. It's weird. It's always like the feeling of like you could fall. Well, you know, I don't know. I've done stunt flying and like, you know, rolls and flips and stuff like that in aircraft. No, not a problem. I like it, in fact. But put me on a high mountain looking off the edge of a cliff, and I'm like, I don't want to go near the edge. I'm like that.
You're an odd one, you.
Yeah, it's bizarre,
No,
isn't it?
yeah.
It's
No,
really
yeah.
bizarre.
I'm all right
Is
in
it because the aircraft you're in
40,000 feet, but
it's got high sides or high windows mainly, so you can't see down. You see more
No,
out like a car.
no, Microlight's got a great window. Used to take the doors off so you could actually look out the edge and hang and poke a camera out. I don't have a problem with it. But it's funny though, when you get up to it, when you're 2,000 feet, everything's quite close. When you start to get like 5,000 feet up to 10,000 feet, everything starts looking a bit like, that's crazy,
Real.
You're like 10,000 feet, you're 10,000, you're 10 times higher than like a bloody standing on the top of a television transmitter, one of those big, like 1,000-foot high jobs,
yeah,
you're
big
10
ones.
times higher than that, And then it's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've got an adventure to do basically, but that's a high one. But like I say, it's got to push me to the limits. That one, like you say, you're walking across something and you can see right underneath you, and it's a long, long way down. So I don't even know whether I can make it across or not. So I'll be filming that as soon as I get on there and see what I can do. Be an interesting video anyway to see if I can do it or not. But it's not just me going there. There's a few of us, and one of us might not make it. You know what I mean? Might give up halfway across, or just freeze, or I don't know. And if so, it's one of them ones. What do we do? Do we keep them up there for ages and try and get them down ourselves, or phone the emergency services, or what? It's just
you guys
unknown, isn't it?
Come down and do Bethel Quarry because it seems to freak everybody out. Come down and do that because the ladder there is about 120 feet down through like a moist sort of like surroundings, all like water running down the side, but the water, the ladder is perfectly fine. But it freaked me out the first time as well. I got to be honest, when I did it the first time, I was like, it time stretched, like when you're like adrenaline and you're like freaked out, it seemed to take like about half an hour for us to get down there, but it wasn't half an hour. It was like 5-10 minutes maximum, 5 minutes probably. And now when I do it, because I've done it before, I'm just like straight down there. But I've seen other people reacting the same way. And they're clinging onto the ladder like as if something's going to go wrong, and you're having to talk them through it. And, it's all right. Just take your time, And what it does is, like ALW was saying, is like when you panic and you hyperventilate, you use up all your energy very quickly. And I think this is what people do. They go white knuckle. So they hold on and they're using all their muscles, which they don't need to do because they should actually just like as if they're just climbing normally, but they don't. They sort of go and their legs, and then they're breathing, and suddenly they're knackered and they've only gone like 10-15 feet and they're like and they got no more energy left, and you have to relax. You just have to relax and just like take it easy, stop regularly, but just that's I've seen people doing it, and it's a weird sort of effect that I know I've had it.
Is that something you advised with Tinks when he was on them ladders, weren't he?
Said take all the time you need, and it was a good thing. I think we put him at the back because it was kind of like we knew he'd be slow because people are, but the thing was he was holding on to it and he was having his moments. He was having to talk to himself like, it's all right, it's fine. And it's like, well, don't look down, but it's like, it's not a problem. It's the strongest ladder I've been on. It's really, really solid. But I mean, I couldn't climb a ladder like that on the edge of a building. Probably I'd have a problem with that. But if I'm in an enclosed tunnel or something, I don't seem to suffer so much. It's one of those.
Yeah. It's just mind over matter bit, really, because if you can see the ladders well secure and not rusted away and stuff like that, it's not going to move. It's just, you can climb a normal ladder, say 10 foot. This is just a bigger one. You know what I mean? It's just mind over matter. You've done it hundreds of times, or maybe a few times, it's just because it's a bigger ladder. Yeah, it does get to you. You think if you do fall off this, yeah,
It
But
is. I agree, but
I get
agree
panic
with Matt.
attacks.
Would have been sorry. I've got a delay. There's a delay when I'm speaking. Sorry, go on, Matt.
Oh no, that's fine.
I remember watching like newsreels of Fred Dibner climbing up the outside of chimneys, and
yeah,
when
that's
he's
it.
going up that, I couldn't do that. No way. But
Yeah.
I'm good on ladders, sort of just on the side of buildings and things, and inside, I'm fine with like warships. The aircraft carriers used to have a trunk called P trunk, and that was about 8 decks. And I could do that. That was fine. But like you said, Matt, it's all enclosed. I didn't have a problem with that. But to go like 8 stories up the outside of a building, I couldn't know where. And I used to watch like the Fred Dibner stuff and thought, nah, I'd tense up, like you were saying. And I would be like, I couldn't do it. It just, my mind would just say, no, dangerous, climb up.
Yeah.
I like pushing myself because I mean I've wanted to go out with somebody. They're going to take me to do something locally, and it's like climbing down like 100 feet. But we're going to abseil it. Now I've never abseiled, but I have got all the equipment and ropes, but I've never actually got around to doing it. So I'm going to go and do it. But it's one of those things. It's like it's being on the edge. I think is the worst. Like getting prepared for it is worse than actually doing it. It's like I know I'm going to feel like all heady, but I tell you what helps me, because I was saying about the panic attacks and anxiety. I mean, I understand more now about what adrenaline is because of like feeling panic attacks and getting hyperventilation and things like that. And it makes you feel like shit. It makes you feel like you're dying, like you're having a heart attack, and you're not. And your brain plays tricks with you, and it tells you like no, and it's like hold on, don't move, and you freeze up and shit like this. Now I take beta blockers because I've been diagnosed as having these symptoms. And when I go out, a lot of the time, if I know there's going to be climbing or weird shit involved, I take a beta blocker before I go out. And it's not because it's not because I'm not brilliant around people, to be honest. It makes me more comfortable about just chatting to people and stuff, because I get panic attacks with being around large groups of people. But it's if I know that there's going to be some element of the explore is going to make me go boo, like that. I take a beta blocker before I go out, and it makes me feel a lot easier. And then if I have to climb up some sort of like dodgy thing, I'm not like frozen, doing it. So yeah, but it's adrenaline, a lot of it, adrenaline production, panic attacks.
Which you can't control, really.
Nope.
Unless you take beta blockers.
Experience. Yeah, unless you take beta blockers, which I've never took. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is a beta blocker? Is that like a heart thing to sort you out? I don't know what they do.
Well, yeah, because your heart beats faster with adrenaline. That's what adrenaline is produced for. But in some people, you get more adrenaline than you need produced, and it can trigger very easily, and it can trigger when you're not even doing anything. Like I could be watching a movie sitting in the house, and all of a sudden, poof, it'll just decide it wants to trigger, and suddenly my heart rate will go up and my adrenaline will go up. Now, there's 2 ways to deal with it. Either you sort of take beta blockers, which will cut off the adrenaline. Doesn't stop your heart. It just doesn't accelerate your heart, because your heart beats normally without adrenaline. It's just adrenaline revs it up like an engine. It just revs the heart faster. So your heart does perfectly fine without adrenaline. But in some people, or in certain situations, when it's revved up, you get all these sort of like effects like paranoia. And there's 2 ways to deal with it. Take the beta blockers or run, because it's this fight or flight thing. And you literally say, like, you can fight somebody, that's what the adrenaline's there for, is to like fight a wolf off, or fight a bear off, or fight an attacker off. That's what the adrenaline's there for. So you can have a fight, or you can run and you can run it off, or you just have to sit there and suffer it, which isn't very good. But yeah, for me, over the years, it's been like, dealing with that was not clever. So I went to see the doctor, gave me some stuff to deal with it. So, but I find it works well on the Explorers. If I think I'm going to get nicked by the police, there's a potential I'm going to get nicked by the police with what we're doing. I definitely take beta blockers because, as we did the other night, if you end up in the cells like I was with Alex, he didn't get any sleep. I did, and it wasn't because of like it was just because my heart rate was low. It was just like I felt relaxed.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I could sleep.
Yeah, I think what
He
you're
was
talking
like,
about there was
dun, dun.
fight or flight syndrome. I've had that before, where you sort of you sort of got all this adrenaline and like in sort of caveman times, it was you'd either fight the wolf or run away. But in sort of modern times, it's a meeting of something that's got you all wound up, and there isn't a fight to be had, and there's no run to be had, so you don't do either. So you just bottle all this stuff up, and that's depression and all that anxiety. That's where all that comes from.
Yeah. Plus, frightening experiences. There's a third drug that gets involved as well. It's called serotonin, and that's what you get when you have euphoric experiences, but you also get it when you're shocked as well. And this is what gets released apparently, like rabbits. Like when you go driving along a road and you see a rabbit and it just sits there. It's because it's got so shocked, it gets a massive release of serotonin, and serotonin freezes you, so you can't move. You literally can't move. Your body's frozen because there's an overdose of serotonin. You get it on fairground rides, and you get it in like moments where somebody like pulls a knife on you or something like that. So you've got adrenaline on the one hand, and you've got serotonin on the other. It literally, there are two things there, two chemicals there that if you get too much of them, they freeze you, so you can't move. And it's like
I've seen them. Have you seen them fainting goats? Do you reckon that's what they've got?
Oh,
Too
God,
much
yeah.
of that, where they just faint.
It
When they
might
get
be. I
surprised.
don't know.
Oh,
Yeah,
I know them. They just drop over.
they call it
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They just
mixotonic
skip and then
goats or
just
something.
go,
As they
don't
call
they?
them. Is it mixotonic
Seen that.
goats? Hang on, mixotonic.
Not too sure. But I've seen
Yeah,
a
I've
few
seen
videos.
with it though.
Funny,
Weird.
but it could be dangerous for them.
Oh,
Surprising they're still
myotonic.
around with animals eating them.
Myotonic goats.
Myotonic goats.
Myotonic. Yeah. Or Tennessee fainting goat. Yes. Yeah, they're funny. They are. Anytime you shout at them or like go ha, and they just go and fall over sideways.
Oh, yeah, it's
And then get
weird.
up.
Yeah.
Hi, Barry.
Yeah. What is it that causes it in them? I wonder if it is serotonin. Yeah.
Yeah, I've not heard about this before.
Causes
You've never
stiffness.
heard of it? No
You've
way.
never
No.
seen the fainting goats.
Oh,
No.
they just go like really
Yes.
stiff, don't they? And they
Oh,
just
my
go.
word.
Poof.
YouTube it, honestly. When
Yeah.
this is done,
YouTube, you'll be
I've
laughing
been
your head
on
off.
YouTube. Honestly, it's so funny. They go, meh, and they just drop over.
Yeah.
Like they're dead.
They do.
Like rigor mortis set
Night,
in, and they
Matthew.
just go stiff and they just drop over.
You're off, you.
No,
Yeah, Matthew Bellamy's going.
Oh, that Bellamy. Oh, right, that Matthew. Okay.
Yeah, Matthew
I
Bellamy.
thought you were saying goodbye to me.
Oh,
yeah,
no,
right.
no. I'm not. You're not getting rid of me that bloody easily.
No,
Oh,
I didn't think so. No.
Shit.
Don't you? Yeah, it is weird to actually see it, but yeah, I've seen quite a few videos of them. They just go really like car, don't they? Just 1 minute and
Yeah,
then
it's like
stiff
it's
and
like
then
rigor mortis that's set it in, and they go like
Yeah.
stiff, don't they?
I'll
It's
check
a
it out.
skeletal muscle chloride channel that is the problem. It has humans get it as well, but it's not a lot of humans.
So. Bam, and then just fall over.
wow.
Basically, yeah.
That'll be funny.
Yeah,
Cool.
looks like
Surprises.
Andrew will be watching something later then for a laugh.
I'm surprised they've not been extinct. No wild animals hunting them down. They're just freezing and get fainting.
Yeah, they get wiped out.
I don't think. I bet you it's because they've been bred that way. It's a breeding thing because they wouldn't survive in the wild.
Yeah,
No.
does sound a bit sus, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
if you got
Somebody's messed around with the
in
bloody
between them, it just
DNA
They've
and
only
all that.
been bred for
pieces.
YouTube videos, I think that's what it is.
No,
Yeah, they've been
that's-
bred
so it's all
specifically.
your fault, Marcus, is it? You did it, didn't you?
No,
Yeah.
I love goats. Not that much, but I love
No,
goats.
no,
Wow.
no. You've said it now.
Said it
You've
now.
said it
No,
now.
Listen,
you love.
I have not been to prison for loving goats. Put it that
Yeah.
way.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll be back.
Anyway.
I'll be back. I need to go and find a goat now, right? I guess.
Okay. See you, Matt. Have fun with that goat.
Yeah, Mick J said there, Fred Dibner was like an old school Ali Law. That's
Yeah.
a good analogy, that, actually, yeah. Fair one.
It's like, I mean, Fred Dibner, he didn't just climb up the side of the chimney. He sat on the top of it and knocked each individual brick inside all the way around. It's like, that's just
That
not,
takes some doing,
people
wouldn't
don't do that. You know what I mean?
No.
But he did. That's what he did. That was his
I
job.
think, like, you
Yeah.
two
Some
have got
people have
drones.
got that
It's,
stamina, haven't they, to go and do that and just not crap themselves, basically. I would have
But
crapped myself, but
he'd
yeah,
have a
I actually
pint.
remember watching all that on TV and everything,
Mm.
all in the day.
Yeah.
So just
Yeah.
shows how old some of us are. Oops.
Well,
Well, we know
This
how
is it.
old you are, don't we?
Shut
But, you
it,
know what I
you.
mean?
You're going to get like beat up.
I've seen a few recently on YouTube as well of Fred Dimpley doing his chimneys and stuff,
yeah, he was.
and people reacting to him. His
Mm.
videos, watching his videos and then reacting to him. Go on, ALW, what were you saying? Sorry about that.
I can't remember. I've thought since then.
I think
my
you were.
day.
I think ALW were on about why the phone boxes are cream coloured over in Hull and not anywhere else.
That's a reference to my video tonight.
Yeah.
There's a permission visit place in Liverpool that you can go to. It's a big old hall, great big place, and they've got a red phone box inside. And I was just explaining to the viewers that phone boxes in the UK are red, apart from in Hull, because for whatever reason, British Telecom, when post office telephones came around, they never took Hull. I don't know why, but all the phone boxes in the Hull area are cream. And
Weird.
yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know why
they-
that is.
It's the
Different
same
telephone
phone box
company.
as well, isn't it?
It's
It's
what,
the
sorry?
same. It's
Hull ha-
exactly the same structure.
Mm,
Sorry,
mm.
Hull has its own agreement to do with telecoms. It struck a different agreement, so BT wasn't like mandatory in Hull or something like that. It's a different.
Yeah.
It's a different phone company.
Yeah, I'm not on BT. I
Really?
live in Hull. I don't have BT. I've got KCOM, which is Kingston Communications, but they do. I don't have a phone line. I've got VoIP to my house, and it's just a fibre wire. My internet is really fast. I can upload like a 10 gig video to YouTube, and it's up within a couple of minutes.
Okay, rub it in,
good.
rub it in.
Is it like you want to download a hardcore fetish movie and then you deciding which one to download, and before you press the button, it's already downloaded it?
Something
No,
like
that's
that.
just
Yeah,
that's just you,
that's
Marcus.
probably just you. Yeah,
Well, you know what I
on your
mean.
4G.
I love them goats. I do love them goats.
Yeah,
Yeah.
says it all.
Here we go. This is a strange fact, but there are certain places around the UK where other telecom providers have exclusive rights to provide telephony. I'm doing a Marcus now, and broadband services. Surfaces. That's a surface. Like yeah.
Surface
right.
says.
Yes. As a result, we are not able to offer BT services there. Right. The main example of this is Hull, which is served by Kingston Communications, KCOM.
Cool.
Right now, why though? Why was that the case? You know, and apparently there was a Hull broadband hole as well. 2008, there was a problem with broadband because they weren't getting the same sort of service as the rest of the UK because Kingston Communication had a different arm, Carew or something, and they didn't
Carew,
provide
yeah.
it properly. You know about this because you live there.
Yeah,
There we
yeah,
go.
yeah. Carew,
This is something
yeah.
the rest of the UK have never heard about. Yeah.
I used to have like ADSL, and it was like 1 megabit. And that was it.
CCL, bloody hell, that's
Yeah, it was
ancient.
rubbish. And ADSL, and it was rubbish. And I went, and that was like £20 a month. And then they brought Lightstream out, and they just ran. They've run, and they have done this. They've run fibre optic cables to everybody's houses, and they call it Lightstream. And That's £20 a month. So I went from like 1 megabit to whatever I've got now. And Matt can look at the statistics. I'm on the Family Max plan or something. It's unlimited download, unlimited upload, and it's just fast. It is properly fast.
I think I'm really cold.
I can do a speed test on my phone and show you, actually.
Yeah,
Bloody
a
hell.
monopoly was given for this company to run Hull. Now, the thing is, why? That's what I want to find out now. It says it's cream-coloured phone boxes. Has been proud to be different since 1902. Hull City Council floated it for 250 million in 1999. And but the thing is, how did they get the rights to that? How did they manage to say, well, we're different, like we're a different part of the United Kingdom, we're different to the rest of you, we can do it differently, the government doesn't have rights over us? Because remember, this goes back to the government post office, GPO, right?
Yeah.
They put in everything, the backbone for everything: radio, broadcasting, telephones, telexes, everything, all the secret infrastructure, everything, except in Hull.
Yeah,
I mean, was it like a bunch of Freemasons up in Hull said, no, we want to make some money out of this? They had their way,
Yeah, I don't even know.
It's almost like an agreement, because you get this with lords and ladies. They get given a piece of land and they've got special laws in that part of the world because they were given this land by a king in the past or something, and they've got different laws, and they've got no, we've got our own special thing. We can do this down here. You can't do this. And, there are strange things like that in the UK.
Yeah, there is Information Commissioner's Office for CCTV. The only people that don't have to register a CCTV system are lords, elected members of the House of Parliament, and police crime commissioners. And that's fact. Yeah, they're exempt. Everybody else has to do it apart from them. But yeah, that's bearing in mind I'm on a live stream. That's what speed test just done now.
1 second, go on. We're up now.
That's not bad.
Bloody hell.
You're getting better uploads. I mean, weirdly,
uploads are great.
Yeah, that's a good upload speed. I'd love to have that, because I think I get about 20 upload and I get 80 download.
With mine service provider, I wanted a upload speed, but they're saying, we can't guarantee that. Basically, an upload speed.
Yeah.
Guarantee a download speed. I said, why are you doing that?
Yeah, that's right.
They say, no, because everyone wants to download films and watch this and watch that. Not many people want to upload stuff. It says, I know a lot of people who want to upload stuff, like everyone on YouTube.
Yeah, in our community.
You know what I mean?
No, it's not because of that. It's not because of that. It's never been because of that, because it's 1275 baud on modems, yeah? I mean, it's to do with, in the United States, everything is, you can have the biggest radios, you can have the biggest power, you can have all, and you come across to Europe, and especially the UK, it's communications that will give the people power. That soon they'll be communicating with each other to overthrow the government. That's the way they think. It's to do with paranoia in the ruling class, that giving people broadcastability and power and radios and television, giving them the ability to do that, is going to give people too much power, and that's why it's been restricted over the years in the UK. United States, not a problem. Yeah, I mean, in Greece, they don't even care what you transmit. You can set up a pirate radio station. It's not illegal. You can set up a pirate television station. It's not illegal. They just don't care about it. It's he who has the most powerful transmitter wins over in Greece.
Yeah.
It's probably changed now under the EU, but when they weren't EU led, I remember going to.
Yeah.
I mean, they had television stations. I bought a camera, which is sitting around you somewhere. I bought a camera from a bloke. Here it is. Right, this camera was bought. Right, that camera there, as you see it, with this little metal handle like that, was bought from a guy called who called himself Rhodes TV. Rhodes is in an island off Crete. Yeah,
RHOD.
Been there, it's awesome.
So he bought himself a transmitter, and an antenna. And then he started making programs before YouTube was around, you know, and he was started making programs and he was broadcasting. And that was his camera. He sold me his old camera. And I asked him, you know, what do you do? And he told me what he did. And I was like fascinated by it because I'd been to Greece and I knew that there were no radio laws out there and you could do what you wanted. But you try doing that in the UK, bloody hell, they'd be bashing your door in with a bloody battering ram.
Oh yeah, they'd come for you. Yeah,
That's what I was
CE
saying.
regulations.
That's what I was saying about the G5. They were hesitating about rolling out because people can use it so quick and do things so quick, like use it for terrorist things and this and that. And that's what I heard. I don't know how.
They always say this shit. Aircraft will fall out of the sky.
They always say it, yeah.
Ambulances will not be able to pick people up anymore because you're transmitting on a radio. And it's like, nah. Do you know what makes a mockery of that?
What I heard,
oh, go on.
What I heard, it's like something like they can actually, like a drone or something, if someone's on the plane, they can actually hack into it and control it instantly, like a drone, constantly, without any interference and stuff like that. That's what I heard. I don't know how true it was or whatever. But because instantly they can actually see what's happening on G5. Say, like on drone footage, you sometimes get delay and stutter. With the G5, you won't get that, and they can actually use it for terrorist reasons and stuff.
Well, I don't think so. I think it's got a lot to do with the paranoia of the ruling class. You know, they want to keep certain things monopolies. So that certain people can make money and can control and information and flow of information. I mean, it's about propaganda. A lot of television. I mean, this is why I don't watch the BBC, because it's like, you know, you turn it on and it's like, you know, just propaganda machine. Like, you know, what's today's news? Well, it's 15 minutes of news repeated continually throughout the day. It's only 15 minutes of news. That's all the UK need to know. Just this message repeated. And it's like, you know, I don't like being talked down to. Yeah.
Lies.
It's
like watch TV.
It's like that film, The Time Machine, the original one, where he goes in the future and he sees war and disaster and this and that. It keeps going through. And then sees nature taking back over and keeps going through. And then he actually sees people, so it actually gets out of the machine, goes over, and starts talking to him, and seem a bit weird, but he thinks so many years after, you know what I mean, might be that way anyway, sort of thing. Just not used to him, you know what I mean, different cultures and that. And then they were talking about books and stuff, and they went, no books allowed, we're not allowed to do that. And he was saying, how do you know what's happened in the past? Oh, these magic ring things tell you what's happened in the past. They know everything. They're not wrong. So it's basically like what they feed you is the information they want you to know. And because he came from the past, he knew it was all totally bullshit, basically, yeah? So it's like fake news in the future, and it seems like it's all happening now. And, yeah, because everyone's screaming fake news in the news now.
I was thinking about this today because people were saying, would you take like a chip from Elon Musk to kind of like be connected to the AI? And I was thinking, well, it would be great to be able to pull up information really quickly. But then when they totally control what the information is, then suddenly your whole world is going to be like as if you're watching the BBC or ITV. It's going to be like the world according to the BBC, the world according to ITV. And it's like if you try to find out the truth, you know, like try to find out like information that's classed as subversive, it wouldn't be allowed. So therefore you ask a question and your brain responds with the government answer, the government answer, the government answer, you know, and it's just going to be like, it's going to be a nightmare, you know. And that's why I don't think people are going to be so quick to do it, because people are, I don't know, some people will, but not everyone, you know. But I think it'd be
very crazy though, and they just what they can actually do like that.
That's what they're going to be pushing for, you know. That's what they would like.
Yep, the credit score. 1984 is among us, Mr. John Bengals presents says.
And you've got to remember that when the printing press came out, it was considered one of the most subversive tools ever, you know, and like they were hunting people down who had printing presses because they could print alternative versions of the truth, which were like probably the truth, you know, because you'd have the truth sent down from the governments to town criers who would shout it out in streets going, this is what the government want you to know. This is what the government, and then people like printing press, they were like, you know, here's subversive news, the truth, what they don't want you to know. And of course, what's happened now with the internet is the ultimate what they don't want you to know. And they hate it. That's why they don't want people having fast broadband speeds, because they want to limit really what people can do on the internet, because they could do not just one TV channel. I could be broadcasting 10 TV channels. They're panicked by all this like free flow of information. They don't like it.
Yeah. That's it. It's crazy.
Plus, you know, it takes away their money because, I mean, all these licenses have traditionally been given to like ITV, BBC, and they're heavily controlled what they can do and what they can say, you know, and but then, you know, it's funny really, isn't it? Because they can get away with things that we can't get away with on YouTube. I mean, YouTube is more controlled in what we can upload than broadcasters.
Totally. My video for Thursday talks about I go to a convent. I went there with you, Will. And you know that one that we thought was very good? That one.
Yeah.
There was a sex crime case, you know, one of these historic crime cases there. I talk about that in a voiceover. When I'm there, I voiced over it, I put that in. Google have restricted that video and said it isn't eligible or limited ads. And I think, well, I've not put anything in the tags or the titles or the thumbnail. They've listened to the voiceover, so they know it's in there. So they've restricted it on that, based on that. So they do listen to everything that you're talking about, even on here.
Not made. Yeah, you don't set it up for made for kids or anything like that, have you?
Certain keywords up as well, though. Maybe that's the way they found out, you know, what you've said.
No, they transcribe it.
Yeah, people don't like to kind of accept the fact that since the 1970s, they've been able to listen to every single telephone call and turn it back into text and look for keywords and who's connected to who. And all this is an automated system. Now, the NSA, which is Google, but a lot of people are like, no, it's not. It was invented by a professor at a university. No, it's the NSA.
Yeah, it's the NSA.
It's the NSA.
You used to have a government gateway login to log into Google when it first came out.
I think I remember something like that.
So, you know, you had to have a security classification to apply for a job for Google. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, they listen to everything. And this is why China does not allow Google, because they don't want Google spying on its citizens. So they have their own Google, you know, which spies on their own citizens. It's all about spying on what people are doing. But the thing is, this technology, which has been around since the 70s, to listen to phone calls and turn it back into text, this is how I can literally say to my phone, as if some of you haven't tried this, but I can say like, show me Urban Legends UK live stream.
Here are the top search results.
Yeah, and it gives me straight away, you know, it works out exactly what you're saying. It turns it back into text. Now, when we're doing a live stream, it's instantly doing that. It's converting it for subtitle purposes, right? If we upload a video, we press publish. Within about a minute of us pressing publish, it's listened to every single word in that hour-long video, created a text file, searched the text files for things it doesn't like, flagged them up, sent those through to certain departments and agencies that are tracking this stuff. Yeah, it's all automatic. Everything's automatic, you know. So you've got to be careful what you do on these streams, because this is why I restrict the swearing, and I go a little bit overboard on some of the things I talk about. But it will screw up your channel, you know. So got to be careful what you put on them.
That's why
Doesn't
we
even
try and
matter
keep
if
it clean on
you
this
say
channel.
you're like for over 18s, they don't care. They still do it, don't they?
Yeah. But that's it. On a live chat though, it's your channel. Sometimes people talk, even myself, and swear on it. But yeah, we try and keep it clean. But it's just life. At the end of the day, it's a live chat, and when you're talking, you are actually talking, and it's freedom of speech in a way. But yeah, they like to restrict it, like you're saying.
Definitely.
A lot more of my live streams get instantly like demonetized and instantly restricted because of that. I think even if they don't know what you're talking about, I think live streams, they automatically treat them as suspect, you know, before they even start. You know, it's yeah. I've had a number of my videos where I've not sworn, not done anything dodgy, and they've come up as no. And I'm like, hang on, we really didn't say anything in that one. Like the ones which I have and I've expected to be pulled up, you know, like I've been fined sometimes, and I'm like, that's weird. Because it's like, was the algorithm not heard what we've been saying? And then other ones, it's like, on nope. And I'm like, well, what's been said in that one? But they are listening.
Yeah. That's X-Files reference, isn't it? They're listening.
Yeah. And
Files to know that.
the truth is out there.
Definitely.
I want to believe is the other one as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not really watched it.
He wants to rewatch all the old series again.
I mean, I know that the police track your mobile phone because a couple of times the police have wanted to get me, and they've come to exactly where I am, and like, Mr. Williams, you know, it's like, bam, by my mobile phone. Now then, legally, that's not meant to be happening unless they got a warrant to do it. It happens, trust me.
It does happen.
They do that, and they don't talk about it. There's lots of things they do they're not meant to do, and they do it. So
is it
if
like
you've got your phone on you,
they were towing your car before you'd even got down the ladder or something?
Yeah, I mean, we were on top of a building. They were towing my car and Alex's car away before they'd even knew who we were. But they knew who we were. That's it, you know. So, yeah,
says it all.
Yeah.
Which is why I said to Alex, I did say, you know, we need to park further away, really, because they will be looking around these streets for our cars, you know. And if we're on a street, they'll find our cars. I did say this to Alex. I mean, you got to. People don't realize how the police work. Like they come to an area, you think they're looking at that building. They're not. They're sending cars like skimming all the streets as well, like, you know, looking for your cars. You know what I mean? It's like, how do they know? It's like, well, they know. They already know. So
that's it. It's Big Brother, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean,
1984. Yeah.
You have to hide your car when you go to do something because they'll come and get it and tow it away. So, like, you know.
That's it. But you see these cars that are parked up on the side of the road with no number plates on, that are there for months. And you see other cars that are on the same street that's just been out of tax a month ago, and they're wheel clamped. It's crazy how some people just get away with it. But like you say, some of them have got no number plates. They don't even bother.
Like that one.
Doing
that
anything.
I was Boy Racer who was racing me the other night in the Rhondda Valleys, and he's got no number plate. Can you see? There's no number plate there. And his mate who was with him, had like a 90% black, where the yellow was meant to be, was 90% black, and then the letters were black. So it was like black on black number plate. And I thought, how do you get away? You can't get away with that. It's not in any way, shape. But then his mate pulled up and he's like, well, no number plates. And I'm like, you know, and I was having a proper race with these kiddies, you know, and they weren't happy that I was showing them up, you know, like in a bloody old people mover, you know. So people. You know, one of them was so pissed off that I was showing him up. Yeah, I went to pull in somewhere and he pulled his car in front of me like that, and I was like, well, what are you going to get out? Get your shotgun out and shoot me? Is it, you fucking wankers? You know.
Yeah, but
you're having a tantrum in your putt. You know, because I've been like driving as fast and crazier than you are, like, you know.
Yeah.
So
Well, some of them used to be quick. They used to do a 2.9 Galaxy. They were quick.
Mm.
Yeah, they'll
turbo as well.
Mm.
GSI turbos they did.
That's it. Yeah, the VXRs. Yeah. What's the chat saying?
But
Quite
it was
a few
like I went back to see my dad, and he was like warfare. You know, I was like somebody like pulled up beside me, so I like went. I was in the overtaking lane, so I went to pull away so I could get in front of him. He was like, "No, you're not." So like we're coming towards now, and I was like, I'm coming towards like a traffic light, which is going to impact me. So I've got to get in front of him. So what, I've got two choices: ram him off the road. That's one choice, or pull in so he pulls back, you know, to get over. But he's like, nah. And because I managed to push him out the way, like, you know, make him pull back because we were level pegging, you know, level pegs. Because I did that, he was up my arse. And once he got my rage going and my adrenaline started kicking, the next people I met, which were these boy racers, I overtook like about 20 cars, and it was like, and then they saw me doing that, and they were like, "Look at him! Who the hell does he think he is?" And then they overtook, and they were like, they were one, they were doing like in front of me and behind me, trying to like. Rrr. One of them pulled off at a roundabout, and then came back up behind me again and overtook me again. I was like, "Oh, for fuck's sake!"
Yeah.
If you push me, I will ram you off the road. Done it a few times to people. They have not been very happy. I will ram you off the road. Don't fuck with me.
No, that's mad. Happy times, eh?
I've had it happen to me. I had somebody knock me sideways into a central reservation once, you know, and the police said, "Oh, there's nothing we can do about it."
They won't do anything about it.
Never any evidence when it comes to the public, but when it happens to them, suddenly, it becomes a big thing. Yeah.
That's about right.
I had some. I got an outstanding thing from Torquay. Some twat in a bloody iridescent metal BMW, and he looked like he was about 80 years of age, like that. Like pulled up beside me, and I was coming towards traffic, so I indicated, like, you know, "Come on, let me out." And he was in the overtaking lane. He wouldn't let me out, and I was like, so I slowed down because I thought, well, I have to go back in behind him. So I slowed down, and he slowed down as well. I'm like. So I sped up, and he's like, "You're not coming out." That was the message I got, was, "You're not coming out." And I'm like, what the fuck? So anyway, I was like, in the end, he went past. I got out. I went behind him. Didn't do anything to him. Carried on. He pulled back in. I was going to go past him, and then he pulled out in front of me again. And it's like, what? I mean, I'm like, you know, I don't go out with a sort of like, I'm going to go into warfare mode with people, right? But I meet these people on the road, and it's just like, in the end, it's like, well, it's warfare whether I like it or not, you know. And it's like, so I went to go past him later on, and he did it again, and then he run up my arse, right? And in the end, I was like, right, I've had a fucking guts full of this. So he was doing something, and I was like, fucking right, okay. So he went to go past me, and I did what he did to me, and I pulled out, and now he was forced into the central reservation. But instead of putting his brakes on, right? So he was now like literally like that against the barrier, you know. So he's like there, and I'm like, well, this is what you did to me earlier on. You pulled out, and now but instead of braking and pulling behind me, he was just carrying on. He's like, "I'm gonna fucking stay there, and you're gonna fucking all right." And it's just like, so this went on for about 2 or 3 minutes with him in the central reservation, and me just like, well, I'm not in the central reservation. I ain't got a problem. Are you going to brake, or are you going to pull in front of me, or what are you going to do? You know, it's like that. And he's just like literally like nearly scraping metal against the side. I'm like, well, I'm not the fucking one with the problem here. You know, it's like fucking you can stay there scraping metal against the side of the central reservation if you want. You know, anyway. So I got a fucking thing through from the police about that, because when he pulled out in front of me like that, or what was it now? He did something. He had me on film like that, pulling out in front of him and forcing him into the central reservation, right? That's what it was. He had me pulled out, right? So it made me look like aggressive driver, but what wasn't recorded, of course, was the fucking 15 minutes before that where he'd been fucking up my arse, pulled out in front of me, and fucking stopped me pulling out into the overtaking lane and was slowing down and speeding up, which is what started it all off. None of that. So I tore that fucker up. I can fuck right off.
But he must have.
I went to Kelvin Hatch.
But he literally had a camera and sent it to the police, even though he knew he instigated everything right from the fucking start.
Yeah, sounds like him, not bad. But he would have crossed a solid white line, not you.
Sorry. Say again, Al.
Am I in mute?
Me or Andrew?
Andrew, sorry.
So he must have crossed a solid white line when you sort of pushed him and he went to the central reservation. There's usually a solid white line. If he's crossed that, he's broke a traffic rule there. Whereas you haven't crossed a solid white line.
No, they tried. They basically said, like, we're investigating you for driving without undue care and attention. And it's like, well, I'm not going to respond because I know responding is the worst thing you can do.
Yeah.
Hopefully it goes away. But if it doesn't go away, I'm going to be really happy to say, no, I knowingly did what I did because of what had happened over the last 10 minutes prior to that. And I don't give a flying fuck. Yeah, I don't give a flying fuck. It wasn't driving without due care and attention. It was driving with extreme intention.
Yeah, but
I was extremely aware of what was going on. Yeah.
But if you did it all to the highway code, then you haven't broke any traffic rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds like he was after some bloody money.
I went down to Kelvin Hatch near London a couple of years ago. Well, over a year ago now. And basically I had the same idiot like you're saying. Won't put. There's enough room for two cars. It's 2 lane to overtake and all that. But to overtake, pull straight out. So I just flew around him, and next thing is up Jackson behind us. And on the roundabout, he's coming on the inside of the roundabout and cutting us up on the out. No, cutting us up. Right. We're missing each other by inches and just slamming their brakes on and stuff like that. Just idiots, some people like that.
People in London.
But it was before. All it did talk is just a little nudge on his tyre and that would have flipped. You know what I mean? They're not great on the doing stuff like that.
People in London don't take a test. They just get given a license because it's a different world. Honestly. Believe me, I drive a truck around London and it's shit. It's the worst place. I've drove around Gibraltar. I've drove around Marbella. I've drove around Alicante. I've drove around most places in Europe where the tiny places and you know what I mean, and all over UK, and it's like London is the worst place I have ever driven. Honestly, I wouldn't wish going to London by any vehicle to anybody in the world because it's shit. Excuse my French.
Do you feel like that's got worse in the last sort of 10, 15 years?
Yeah.
Or has it always been bad? It's got worse in the last 10 to 15 years?
It's got worse in the last 10 to 15 years,
I drove all the way through France, Belgium, Germany, like, you know, sort of Austria, drove around all those and it was stress-free, you know, like easy. Went to the Netherlands, boy, have they got to stick up their arse, right? And came back to the UK and straight away coming off the boat and round like Dover and, you know, you could see the difference. I mean, like, we are quite aggressive drivers, I think, in the UK, but in the Netherlands, they don't want to see you pull out or do anything. They're just like tight up against each other. They're like, within inches, and they're like, nobody's going to get past me. And they're just like all stressy. Like the Netherlands is like, and it's literally, you drive across the border into the Netherlands, you can see it's like junk, like a light switch. It's like stress heads. So I don't know if Urban Lad's got any experience of that, being a driver who goes across borders, but they're stressy in the Netherlands. They're like up each other's arses, and he's
won't give way
muted.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know if
You
it does
muted, mate.
European.
I haven't been to Netherlands, but but most places in like I've done France, Germany. I've done it in my car as well. You know what I mean? I've done Gibraltar, and when I've been on holiday. I've drove in America. That everybody is a dickhead unless they're in the UK that are driving properly. You know what I mean? It's like in America, because the lanes are so big, the vehicles are so big, they just don't care. You know what I mean? It's like, and they know what a person that goes to America, because all the cars that people rent when they go to America, they're all the same vehicle, so they know they're rented more or less. You know what I mean? So they're just like, it's swerving all over, and you know what I mean? It's ridiculous. It's crazy. Says I'd rather drive in the UK, you know what I mean, and not London. Anywhere in the inside of the M25 is shit.
But the M25 is particularly bad as well. I mean, there's an M25 mentality of, I'm going to go slow in the right-hand lane, which is the overtaking lane. And there's like a line of traffic in the right-hand lane, all going slow, and everybody's speeding past them in the other three lanes, because it's like they're like, this is the fast lane, and I'm a fast driver, and I deserve to be fast, so I'm going to be in the overtaking lane. And it's like, but everyone's going faster than you in the other lanes. What are you doing?
There was once a guy, that ran out of petrol on the M25, and what it was an oldish guy, and he set off to go and visit his family in Newcastle, and when the police came to him, they said to him, "Where are you going?" And he said, "I'm going to Newcastle." And they said, "We have got you on CCTV. You have drove around the M25 4 times."
Whoa.
And what it was, he didn't know which way to come off. He didn't know which lane to come off to get off the motorway. So he drove round 4 times. When he set off, he had a full tank of fuel, and he actually ran out of fuel because he couldn't get off the M25. He drove round it 4 times. It was on a documentary. That was a documentary I watched.
I've actually heard that story myself.
Honestly,
Crazy.
Man.
And there's the slamming the brakes on the M25 as well. People like they don't brake normally. They slam their brakes on, and then everyone brakes, and it causes these huge like fluctuating tailbacks.
I mean, my truck is equipped with a braking system. So if someone brakes in front of me, it sends me, it does a noise through the speakers, a warning, that vehicle is stopped in front of you. And if I don't get on it quickly, the truck will slow down and stop. You know what I mean? On its own, it's like it goes along and it sees the vehicle stopped in front of me. It's like if people are pulling off into a garage or something in front of, or off on a slip road or something like that, and I'm in the first lane at motorway, and I'm driving up, and they're not as quick as me to pull off the motorway. It's like brrr, that's what it does. It does brrr, like that, and I'm like, and it slows the truck down, but it doesn't just slow it down gradually. It's like, whoa, I'm stopping. You know what I mean? It's like I'm fully loaded, and it's like I've got my steam up basically. You know what I mean? I'm doing 55 clicks down motorway, and it's like, right, we're stopping now. You know what I mean?
Oh, he's gone.
Oh, yeah.
Microwave gone. Oh, totally gone.
Somebody pulled it in front of him then. Yeah.
It's like that on the windscreen.
Yeah.
I'm going for 1 minute.
Yeah, me too, man. I'll see you in a sec.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay.
That was Urban Lad Yorkshire, and thank you very much, Urban Lad Yorkshire, coming up tonight. Big thank you very much. Much appreciated. I'll get Jackie up and say a few things because she's the only one there now.
Oh, oh God, they've all run away. What's this? Toilet
Yeah.
stop or beer stop?
Yeah, toilet stop. Yeah.
Oh dear, make me laugh. See, that's where Marcus has gone. Probably gone to the toilet outside the bloody truck.
Yeah. Well, it has gone past the normal time, 2 hours now, so I'm going to call it a night now anyway. So when
Yeah,
these two come back, let them say their bits and bobs, and we'll call
bits
it a
and
night.
bobs. Indeed.
Yeah. It's been a great night. Enjoyed it myself. Good laughs. We were talking about
Yeah.
all sorts. Goats falling over, road rage, caves, water, boats, you name it. 30 goal heights. Yeah, so it's been all
Interesting
sorts.
one.
Yeah. Always is just a random talk, really. Isn't it? It starts off one thing and it just keeps on going onto different
It's
subjects.
where it's meant to be, though, isn't it?
That's it. Just let it flow.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, he's back.
You like Matt? How's it going?
Yeah, not too
He's
bad.
opening another tin now. he's ready to keep going.
He is. Are you doing a live
I
stream?
When I went to the Paris, no, I'm not going to do it now. After this, I was going to the Paris catacombs. I was meeting with Dan Dixon. I was driving down with hours to play because I didn't want to mess up and lose the ride, on the boat, on the ferry. So, like, I turned up hours before. So I was driving slow. I was like doing 70, 75. And it was, when was it now? It was nighttime, but it was, I can't remember whether or not. No, I don't think the COVID thing had happened then. So
no, it hadn't.
But it was quiet, and I was driving along, and I was like in the second lane or something, and a car came hurtling out of a side, like the slip roads, and then accelerated onto the motorway and came straight out to the right-hand lane. There was nobody in the right-hand lane, came into the right-hand lane, and then slowed down. The car started coming up behind him, and I was like, what was that about? What the fuck was that about? So anyway, this guy was messing around and doing some shit, and I looked at him and I was like, I looked at his back of his car, and I think he had a disabled sticker on it. It was like, I'm a disabled driver, and I thought, you are fucking disabled. You are fucking disabled in so many ways. It's fucking not even funny. So later on, like, all right, he went ahead, and I saw him coming up, and I thought, do you know what? I'm going to fucking see whether or not he likes this himself. I thought, because it was quiet on the road, like, all right, I thought I'm going to see him. So I fucking sped up in the left-hand lane, doing about 80, 90, and I'm like, all right. And then I fucking slushed across into the right-hand lane in front of him, because there he was in the right-hand lane, just driving in the overtaking lane, and I slushed straight in front of him with inches, like, in front of his bumper, and then put the brakes on. And fucking slow him right down, like, all right. He went fucking mental. Beeping, flashing. He was going to pull over. I pulled over. I was like swerving across all three fucking lanes. You ain't getting past me, mate. No fucking way. And I was like, and he was going fucking mental, right? I kept him there, like, you're not going past me, mate. No. You're just, because this is what he did to everyone else. He just went whoosh into the right-hand lane, then slowed down and just fucking at everybody. And it's just like, but when I did it to him, he didn't fucking like it. I kept it going for about 5 minutes, and then I fucking hit the pedal and fucking took off, and I was just like gone. But it's just like, I just thought, well, you're fucking disabled. I hope I've given you a pair of crutches now. There you go, so you understand a little bit better.
You probably needed new pants as well while he was at it.
So you can walk along the motorway now like the rest of us, with your fucking crutches and understand a little bit of how it works. Yeah.
Yeah. Right, I'm going to call it a night now anyway. We've gone past the 2 hours that I normally have.
On that bombshell.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for coming up and having a chat. It's been a great laugh and pleasure having you up. Yeah.
He's a mad driver, but you noticed he's being quiet. He hasn't said too much because he if you want to see that nobody understands, right? He drives a mad little car. This one.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
Ah, you're a bit
it's
shady,
got a big
are you,
loud
Ben?
horn. And it's got like a truck horn.
Yeah, he probably wants to end the stream now before we start getting him on dodgy subjects. That's what it is.
Oh, it's all coming out now.
So about you,
Some of your shit. Tell us.
If I talk, I'll be talking for hours, and I don't want to.
He listens
like,
to everybody else, then, doesn't he?
I don't want to give my channel a bad name by talking about my driving experiences.
Especially when he's younger, it's just crazy.
And you know he's a mad lad because he's got scrambler bikes, and people with scrambler bikes.
And not
It's
cases.
sport. It's sport. So everything on the road is sport.
Upstairs.
Yeah.
Upstairs in his house, there's scrambler bike. Not downstairs, upstairs. There's a scrambler bike in your cupboard upstairs in there.
Yeah, I'm restoring that one. That's a 1987 YZ490. It's a collector's item at the moment. So, yeah, that'd be cool once it's up and running again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Don't get me wrong, we'll have a go of it, and then it'll probably just store it again.
Have you ever driven around Manchester with no number plates on your car?
God.
I bet you yes.
No, I've drove around with my urban legend plate on the car sometimes by accident after filming.
Oops.
Yeah. But yeah. Right, on that bombshells, catches all Angel. Thanks for tuning in.
No more admissions.
Yeah, he's just dug himself a big hole now.
Yeah, thanks everyone. All right.
Thanks very much for coming in. Catch us all later. Goodbye.
Hey.
Thanks for subscribing and everything.